Welcome back to the Surly Talk Sports podcast, the preview podcast brought to you by the TAB and Michelob Ultra. I have to say too, Surly set a 6. Great feedback. Waz fans loving it. A reminder, that'll come out every Monday. If you haven't listened to this week's one that dropped on Monday, you can still listen. It's pretty much relevant up until after the game against the Knights this weekend. So get amongst that. And shout out to everyone who tuned in. TAB code for this week. I dropped it at the end of last week's pod on accident. Copped a bit of flack. A few people sprayed me. So
not happy with it.
Yeah, not happy with that, mate. You should just be grateful for a code, right? But a few people, they want it at the start so they can chuck it straight in before they hear all of our tips. So the code this week is margin. You place a winning team and margin bet on the Warriors versus Knights game this week, and if it misses, get up to $20 back as bonus cash. So those winning team and margins now, I'll run you through them. Knights 1 to 12, $3.70. Knights 13 plus $6.25. Warriors 1 to 12, $2.95. Warriors 13 plus $2.55. So you back any of those margins. You get it wrong, you get your money back. I think there'll be a few people that try play the upset yarn here and go Knights 1 to 12. And if the Warriors win, then they still get their money back in bonus cash, but I would say that's cowardly. I'm still going with the heart here. Warriors 13 plus, and I'm just using it as insurance. $2.55. I reckon we get them this weekend, mate.
Yep, that's a smart move.
Yep.
I mean, I wouldn't be putting money on the Knights. Come on.
Surely not. 5 p.m. Saturday
Arvo.
Oh, you can't beat it, can you? So looking forward to that game. We may as well get straight into the NRL as well, because she's another jam-packed week, and there's some interesting games this weekend. There's a couple here that I think could be potential for me to catch up to you on the old tip sheet, but let's see how we go. This Thursday night game, I can't remember the last time a Raiders team played a Thursday night. It's a little bit different. The Doggies, their first game in 3 weeks, their first game on Australian soil. They had Vegas, they had the week off, then they had the bye, and now they're playing this whole Bronson Cherry thing. They seem like a totally different team at the moment. So looking forward to this one. Raiders at home, $1.80 favourites. Dogs, $2.02. Big Papa returns for Canberra, which is going to be massive for them. Morgan Smithies drops back to the interchange. I was interested to still see Matty Timoko, 19th man this week. So still on the interchange. But he must be really out of favour. I thought he had a good impact when he came on late, and I was worried about him when he checked into that game because he can break open a game. But yeah, they stick with Simi Sasagi in the centre. He's a good footballer, but of course he can play second row and he's more of a forward. I don't know what Matty Timoko has done. He was injured in pre-season, but it's clearly not that because he would have worked his way back in by now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I would have thought by now, after the game last weekend, you would have shifted some stuff around. Simi Sasagi, yeah, I would have liked him off the bench in sort of an impact role where he can cover multiple roles. But yeah, I don't know. Ricky's got his ways.
Yeah, he does. Shit, he would have had them up for this week too after last week.
Oh, he would have been livid.
Yeah, he would have ripped into them. For the Dogs, speaking of centres, Inari Tuala comes in for his first appearance of 2026. Bronson Jerry left out. No other changes really from the team that got the job done against the Dragons in Vegas. This whole Bronson Cherry thing is extremely interesting. It sounds like they told him he was going to be dropped. He didn't respond well. They followed through with that. He's not on the extended bench or anything. He's just been clean cut. Now they're saying that he wants a release, that they've told him there's no plans of an extension of his contract. He's a decent player. They shifted him from the left to the right, and apparently he's not happy about that. He does have his baggage and a bit of some problems in the past, but I think his form last year was pretty damn good, and he offers a bit of X-factor and strike in that Dogs back line.
Well, he's better than Inari Tuala, and that's no disrespect to Inari Tuala. So, I mean, I don't think it's a good thing for the Bulldogs that Bronson's sort of packing up a storm almost. I mean, I would go with Bronson. I mean, that move, he's obviously getting less ball, right, on the right side compared to what he would be getting on the left. Yeah. So I don't know. That's just selfish if that's the case to me. Like, they're going to win games. So, yeah, I'm not sure how it's going to go. But, yeah, for the Bulldogs, Inari Tuala isn't as good as Bronson Cherry, so I can't think it's a good thing.
Yeah, interesting one for sure. I've got the Raiders to get up here. The Raiders have won 5 of their last 6 against the Bulldogs at home. And Ricky Stewart, 300 games as Raiders coach, so they will be up for that. For your try scorers, Jacob Preston, 5 tries in his last 5 games. Stephen Crichton, 10 tries in his last 8 games against the Raiders. That's a great record. And Xavier Savage, 7 tries in his last 7 games at GIO. Raiders in a tight one for me.
Yep, agreed. I think that, especially after... we'll go through the picks at the end. But,
okay.
But I think just of how angry Ricky Stewart would have been last week.
Yeah.
Or not angry, I don't know. Who knows with him, but... Yeah, I would have thought the Raiders.
Yeah, I think big Papa back in that 4
300
pack too.
for Ricky.
Yeah, I think they roll through the middle and get the job done. But I do expect it will be close. Friday night, again, 2 great games. Loving these Friday night matchups at the moment. Roosters host the Panthers. Roosters $2.20. Panthers $1.57. Reece Robson back to make his Roosters debut. Back early too from that thumb injury, so that is a big in for them. That's the only change to the team that bet the Bunnies. For the Panthers, Liam Martin, a welcome return. Shit, they've looked unreal, and now they throw in Origin, Kangaroos, second rower back into the mix. Good to see Freddie Lussick coming into the 17. Kalani going. He remains on that 6-person extended bench as well, alongside Isaac Tungle. So there's a couple centres there that normally are one of the first few on team sheets that aren't making teams at the moment, which is an interesting watch. I like the Panthers in this one. They've won 11 of their last 12 against the Roosters, which is a bloody dominant record and probably one of the more dominant win rates going around. The Roosters have conceded 30 points or more in 5 of their last 6 games against the Panthers. Nwanga 9 tries in his last 5 games, and Dylan Edwards, a try in 5 of his last 6 games against the Roosters. Always a little bit of value around him. There's also a really good bet too. Panthers the only team to score 20 or more points, 255. I got on it last week. I'll be getting on it again. I can see this being like a 30-18, 30-16 type of win. And I just think Penrith will be too good. Their 4-pack, their defense, they're just relentless. Nathan Cleary's kicking game. I think the Roosters will beat a lot of sides this year, but I don't have them picking up this one.
I think the Roosters will be strong enough to keep this game relatively close for a long period of the game, or it might go to and from, who knows. But yeah, I think what's crazy about the Panthers is that their bench and their extended bench, like Scott Sorensen, Luke Garner, Isaac Tungo, Kalani Going, Tom Ale in the reserves, Jack Cole, Jesse McLean, like these are players who could definitely play first grade at a lot of other teams. So the depth is crazy. So yeah, they'll probably be too good here.
Yeah, 1-12. 1-12, I'm saying, but low scoring affair.
Yeah.
I reckon Penrith get them in the grind. Storm Broncos, this one's interesting. Grand final rematch, but you couldn't think of 2 teams in more extremely contrasting situations at the moment. You have the Storm unbeaten, looking very Melbourne-like, and then you have the Broncos who have conceded 66 points in their opening 2 games so far and look to be in a world of trouble. People calling for Madge, there's all sorts of pressure brewing on them, and they will want to get the result done, but shit, going to Melbourne and trying to knock off the Storm is not easy. The Storm, they have all their usual suspects in there. Spine remains the same. They got Lasati in the second row, Big Stefano, Josh King up front. They do get back Trent Learu onto the bench. His 2-game ban that he received in last year's grand final has now expired, so he comes onto the interchange. For the Broncos, they're trying this old let's play a former player type of trick here up against his old team. Grant Anderson, he comes in to start in the centres. Shibasaki cut. Last year's Origin bolter, Kangaroos bolter, dropped to the interchange bench, and that's just a clean selection. No injuries, no doubts there. I'd be surprised if he gets some minutes, so that is a big call there from Madge. Adam Reynolds named to play. There's a lot of chat he won't, so Ben Hunt should be in the 7 there. Ezra Mam at 6. Xavier Willison also in the second row, but I see Piakura listed in jersey 18, coming back from a knee injury. Wouldn't be surprised if there's a late swap there, because I think Big X is better through the middle, but this is going to be a heck of a game. I just don't think the Broncos at the moment have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with the Melbourne Storm. And the Storm's record, they've won their last 9 straight against the Broncos at Amy Park. I can't see this result not going their way. I do think the Reynolds thing might help them a little bit if he's out, as I've touched on a few times, but Melbourne, to me, the picture of consistency. The Broncos, the complete opposite.
Yeah, the Broncos are a weird one, and they're in a weird sort of form at the moment. Storm don't often lose at Amy Park, so I think the Grant Anderson factor is quite an interesting one. He'll be fired up. He'll want to prove that they shouldn't have let him go and all of this stuff. So I think that's an interesting. Dean Mariner as well. Lots to prove from this team. I wouldn't put it past them to sort of ruffle some feathers, but storm off and don't lose it. Any park, do they?
Excited to see that spine all humming together. They've just got so many threats, and I think they'll be too good and too patient for the Broncos, who just seem to be their own worst enemy at the moment. Super Saturday, first game. That's the one you want to sit down with. Crack open a cold one. She's going to be a doozy. Warriors away from home for the first time this season. $1.60 favourites. Knights $2.35. We were unreal on the road last year and the year before. Basically, under Webby, we've always travelled well, so confidence is high for the Knights. It's a pretty good week to get them as well. $2.7 million worth of salary cap on the sideline and 2 players. KP, Dylan Brown, both out. They do get back Fletcher Sharp from a knee injury, so that is a big in for them. Fletcher Hunt, he's the new fullback. Jacob Saifidi takes over as skipper. But to me, the biggest threats in this Knights team has to be Bradman Best, Dylan Lucas. Both wingers have been in pretty good form at the moment. And then I'm a Phoenix Crosland fan, but I wouldn't call him a threat. He's just more a workhorse, but I always enjoy watching him rip. And then for the Warriors, this is where it gets exciting. A number of forced changes through injury. Capewell out for 4 weeks with a calf. You have CHT and Chance both out with concussion. I believe Chance passed his concussion test at the game.
Yeah, that's what Webby said post-match that he did. But
few symptoms since then, though, so they've decided with the travel factor in there as well, he's better off to just stay at home and get ready for this Tigers game. What that does do, of course, is mean Tane starts at the back, but also young gun Luke Hanson, 22-year-old, makes his NRL debut at 5'8". Pretty keen to see how he goes. Murata joins the bench after ripping up a New South Wales Cup last week. And then on the extended bench, the excitement continues. Co-captain Mitch Barnett named, as well as Jet Cleary. I can't see Jet playing. I can see Mitch playing for sure. I reckon you don't name Mitch on an extended bench if you're not going to play him.
He's just got to tick some boxes, eh?
Yeah,
Last
and I
couple
think
of days.
there's a bit around, hype, all that type of stuff.
The Knights are expecting him to play, right?
I would say so,
Yeah.
and I think majority of people are. He's one of those players to me where you don't name him on an extended because people are going to talk about it unless you're going to play him.
It's interesting because I was thinking about it when he was coming back because it's a bit early, right? It's slightly early, but he said that on League Lounge he's been training, he's been keen to rip in. I was thinking, me personally, I would have held him to next week at West Tigers. I know he's ready to rip in. But just like if he's got to tick boxes in the next couple of days and then he goes in against his former side, he might be just too eager to get in. I don't know. I'm playing devil's advocate here.
Yeah, the old club thing.
Club thing. I'm just thinking that a home game against the Tigers a week later when he should have been ready, when he was ready this week, that's what I would have done. But what do you think around that? You think just rip in it?
I reckon if he's good to go, he's good to go. Yep. And he's been saying for a little while that he feels good to go. That's the biggest battle, is the mental thing. I think he's had so much going on off field now that he just wants to get out there and rip in and let his footy do the talking and that be the main talking point.
What sort of minutes would you do?
See, I reckon with our middle rotation at the moment, you can get away with 25, 30.
You don't change much, hey? No, just add him in.
Chuck him on the bench, add him in from there. You got Jacko Ford there playing big minutes, Fish, Tanner, Demi. Like, you don't need too much. You don't need to overdo it at this stage. So it's almost a good way to stagger him back in. I think it'll be different for, like, Metcalf. I wouldn't be surprised. Like, his return has now been brought forward again as of yesterday to round 6. So he keeps getting bumped up a round, which is exciting to see. But I wouldn't be surprised if he comes back via cup, let's say.
Well, because he said at League Lounge that he's been attacking against the Warriors' defence, sort of showing them signs. So that's sort of good signs, I think.
100%.
But we want to be careful with these. These are two important players. That's just what I'm thinking about in my head. I just don't want to go too early. We're 2-0. Everything's sort of going well.
Oh, they wouldn't risk them, though, if they weren't ready,
you're right.
That 4-pack is humming. So we don't 100% need Mitch. But if he's good to go, then you bring him back. And what a player to bring back when you are down a couple troops. It's incredibly exciting. The keys to this one for me, this work ethic mindset, that just needs to be held. The same accountability, the same standards away from home. We need to dominate the middle. That's Knights pack. It's full of hard workers. It's full of toilers, right? Like Phoenix Crosland, he'll tackle all day. Frizzell, Trey Mooney, Saifidi, like they will carry hard. Dylan Lucas, I reckon he's a heck of a threat on an edge. Could well play Origin footy this year, but we're fresh off owning a Roosters and Raiders pack that you have to think presents more size, more aggression, and they're just a stronger forward pack. So man for man, we should have too much in the middle, and we should be able to overpower them there. And then doing that makes Tanner's job so much easier. He can just control the game, and in doing so, that makes Luke Hanson's job on debut better. He can focus on what he does well, which is run the ball. He's an incredibly good threat with ball in hand. He's a strong defender. He can snap people. He's quite a short, stocky bloke, and he's powerful, built low to the ground. Got a really nice short kicking game as well. And he's a good distributor too, but a run threat is what he is mostly. And I'm excited to see him make his proper debut after playing preseason. Both preseasons started in the 6, and I was surprised a lot of people were like, who is this kid? It was like he started both preseason games in the 6. 22 years old, from Penrith. This is his 4th year here. He's ready.
Yeah, he is ready. You want him to feel ready as well. Like, I think it's a good start having played 2 games of preseason footy as well. Big thing is just you don't want to put too much on his shoulders, You want him to just get into the game. First, like Tanner Boyd needs to take control first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Let him just get a couple of touches, and then that's when he can really get into his work, right?
For sure. And the reaction of his teammates to seeing him named to debut, like, they're all so excited for him. He's earned the respect of the playing group, which is quite often the hardest thing to do for someone on debut. So, yeah, I reckon the stage is set. Not too much pressure on him, but I'd love to see him have a heck of a game. I also think we need to contain their outsides, like Dom Young, Greg Marju, Bradman Best, Gagai. They can have great games. They can also have shockers, and I think we dictate the outcome on which one it is. But all of those guys have errors in them, but also if you allow them to just carry all day, then they'll eat up meters. And then Fletcher Sharp, 13 tries in his last 11 games at home. He is a weapon. I think whenever he gets the ball, we need to be on high alert for sure. Our bench should dominate theirs. I reckon we win, and we win well. We've won 4 of our last 5 against the Knights. The Knights have lost their last 6 games at home as well. We've scored our most points in history after 2 rounds this year. And I just back our defense. So I think we take this show on the road and get it done.
Yeah, I think we do as well. I think I'm a little bit less confident around us literally blowing them off out of the park. I think that they're dangerous. Like, they showed in signs in their first 2 games. I know that's with Ponga and Dylan Brown, and it's a different game with just Fletcher Sharp, but they've got threats all around the park. They're at home. They'll be motivated.
They'll get a crowd
They'll get a crowd too. The Warriors
unbeaten,
down a couple of players, a little bit of difference in the squads. I think we win comfortably. I think we get the job done. I think it's sort of the same sort of vibe as the last couple of weeks. I just wouldn't say we're going to put 40 points on them and dominate. I think it'll be maybe a little bit more of an arm wrestle compared to the last couple of weeks.
As long as it's not like last year where it took some liquor magic.
Yep.
It's still 2 points, but that was way too nerve-wracking. Sharks, Dolphins after this. Interesting game this. Sharks $1.46 favourites. The Finns $2.75. Both teams rolling out the same squads. There's some good matchups across the park. AFB taking on that Dolphins forward pack. You got the battle of the halves, Hines and Trindle up against Katoa and Nikarima. The centres, Ramian and Idol up against Herbie and Avarillo. I think this will be a good game that goes close. I've been disappointed in the Dolphins so far. Sharks will want to bounce back. They've won 8 in a row at home. Dolphins have only won 3 of their 11 games played in Sydney. So I think the Sharks will sense an opportunity here to get one up. Hammer, 6 tries in his last 4 NRL games. Trindle, his 100th NRL game, paying $3.15 to dot for a milestone. He doesn't mind that. I'm going Sharks in a tight one here.
Yeah, the Sharks normally quite good at home, I mean, the Dolphins they've been pretty disappointing first couple of weeks. I know we hyped them up big time in preseason. And a lot of other people did too. We weren't the only ones. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one, close one. There's just something about these games at the moment that I'm thinking are going to be closer. Like, I just can't see blowouts. But then when you look at last weekend's results in round 1, there's so many high-scoring games.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel like the Dolphins could be a chance in this one.
Oh, there we go. Bunnies, Tigers, the last good game of the weekend before we get to 2 poo slingers on your Sunday. But this is going to be a doozy. Bunnies $1.57, Tigers $2.40. Humphrey's back for the Bunnies from suspension, so he takes over the number 7. And Tallis Duncan starts in the second row over Ewan Aitken. I was a little bit surprised that Tallis had been coming off the bench. Ewan, solid player, workhorse, but I think Tallis Duncan's ceiling is a whole lot higher. Then for the Tigers, they lose Taylor May to a shoulder. So Skelton gets the start. Played pretty well in the centres last week. Good to see our former Warrior and Titan, Patrick Herbert, named in jersey 19. That's a bit of a blast from the past. Hasn't played NRL since 2022. Famously blew a draw and pass for the Titans in finals footy to help them get the win, and
give it!
Hasn't really been seen since, so I'm sure he regrets that and he's learned his lesson. But I used to enjoy watching Patrick Herbert, and well done to him. He's worked bloody hard to get back in the mixer, so great recognition for that. The Rabbitohs have won 5 of their last 6 against the Tigers. Tigers have lost their last 4 straight, playing the Bunnies at their home ground. AJ, 20 tries from 18 games against the Tigers. Cody Walker, 4 tries in his last 4 games at home. Something tells me, though, that the Tigers are going to get up for this one. And this is a game that I could see within 6 points either way. I think the Bunnies are going to want to bounce back after last week. They got this AJ thing out of their mind now, and Wayne would not have been happy with the way they finished off that game. Tigers riding a high, but we have to put it into perspective. It was against the Cowboys.
Who are a dreadful side.
Dreadful side. I thought their halves looked really good, though. I like the way Dewey compliments Jerome Luai, takes a lot of the playmaking load off him. I think they've got a good pack and exciting outside backs. Tigers at $2.40 appeals to me.
What's the line?
The line is 2.5 points. So they're expecting it to be close.
Yeah. I would have thought the line would be a bit bigger than that.
Yeah, well, I think they know.
They know.
The majority of money
wrong.
has gone on the Bunnies, but they're keeping the line tight at this stage anyway. I'm going to jump on the Tigers.
Yeah, it's not a bad call. They were really impressive last week.
Yeah.
Albeit against those dreadful Cowboys. But, yeah, I think if they can use that momentum and sort of take it to the Bunnies, who weren't awful against the Roosters. They showed up. But, yeah, if the Tigers can sort of get on top of them like they did with the Cowboys, they could be a chance.
Eels, Dragons, the first of your 2.
Oh.
I wouldn't call it Super Sunday. 2 somber Sunday matchups. Eels $1.46 favourites. Dragons $2.55. Just one change for the Eels. Good to see Hopgood back from suspension.
It's good for my fantasy team as well.
Is he in there?
He is in there.
You held on to him?
Yeah, well, it was a 1 week. He took the early guilty plays, so
smart,
it was good.
Man. Were you happy with that as a fantasy coach? I've
emailed the Eels, told them I needed you to just take the early guilty plea.
Did you chip in for the fine?
I didn't.
Okay.
I didn't. He's on a big enough contract for that.
Yeah, he is.
But I needed the 1 week only.
No, fair. Jack Williams, he's gone all right. Goes into lock. Jack DeBellin back to the bench for the Dragons. Good news for them. Jacob Little's back. I rate him. He can play some footy. And then surprised to see Flanagan and Atkinson both named. They had double ankle injuries last week and they look to be in some pain, but apparently they're good to go. Damien Cook, HIA last week, but he's back this week. So pretty positive news for the Red V. And bad news, the Eels have won their last 4 straight against the Dragons at Combank. The Dragons have lost their last 8 away games as well. And Josh Adokar, 8 tries in his last 4 games against the Dragons. I think Para go back-to-back wins here. In a tight game, though, that will be a bit of a grind because both teams at times can be underwhelming. I just think the Eels have a little more strike and points in them. For me, the Dragons, if they want to win, they got to hold teams to under 20 points.
The thing for me that's going to get the Eels over the line is that the fact that they've played the Broncos and the Storm in the first 2 weeks, they're battle-hardened. They're sort of, the Dragons just aren't the Broncos or the Storm, don't have the quality that those 2 teams have. So I feel like if anyone's going to get on top of it and sort of be ready for this match, I think the Eels will take this one pretty easily. Yeah,
when you look at it too, best player on the paddock, Mitch Moses, right? So you probably back him in to do some damage. And then Cowboys, Titans, this is one for the purists, probably ones for the multis.
I'd say
there'll be some try scorers there for sure in Townsville. Cows at home, so they're favourites, but wouldn't be confident there. Ruben Cotter's back, so that's good news. Kai O'Donnell back to the bench. Matt Lodge still in the mixer. Laybutt serves a suspension, so he's out. For the Titans, big news for them though. Jaden Campbell closing in on a return. I reckon he'll play in jersey 19, so at the moment he's on that 6-man bench, but I think he comes in for Lockie Elias and he gives them a huge boost. Even their attack has been underwhelming, so they need his creativity. They haven't travelled well to Queensland Country Bank, the Titans. They've only won 1 in their last 7 games there, but yeah, I think the Cowboys get up, but this is one of those games where it wouldn't shock me if the Titans win either. I probably want the Titans to win. I don't like the Cowboys. But yeah, this is probably a coin toss.
This is Todd Payton's job on the line.
Yeah.
They lose, he's gone.
I could see that. I think Seabold's been saved by the bye in the race to be the first coach to go.
I wonder what the odds is on that one.
Famous 2 points for Manly this week. That is massive. But yeah, I don't mind that call. I think both teams in trouble, but the Cows need this more than the Titans.
Yeah, agreed.
Tips for this week.
Wow, I'm 2 up.
Here we go. Raiders.
Do you want me to go? Do you want me to because you don't want me to copy you all?
Nah,
do you just want to go and then we'll go?
Yeah, that you're not that cowardly and that the listeners would expose you.
Yeah, exactly.
Raiders, Dogs, I'm going Raiders.
Yeah, so am I.
Roosters, Panthers, I'm going Panthers.
Yeah, so am I.
Storm, Broncos, I'm going Storm.
Yeah.
Warriors, Knights, Warriors.
Yep. Same.
Sharks, Dolphins, I'm going Sharks.
Yeah, I'm going the Sharks too.
Bunnies, Tigers, I'm going Tigers.
I'm going the Bunnies.
There we go.
So there's our one difference that we normally have.
Eels, Dragons, I'm going Parrot.
Yeah, same here.
And Cowboys, Titans, I'm going Cows.
Yeah, I am too. Oh, I thought you were going to go the Titans. I really wanted you to go the Titans there.
Look, Jaden Campbell coming back is a factor for sure.
I just think that his job on the line stuff at home, first game at home,
it's the home part. If this was in the Goldie, I'd be on and
they'll be so disappointed with how they're playing.
Yeah, you'd have to think so, right? But then we say that and then you watch them play and the effort.
Nah, come on. Here we go. This is the week of the Cows.
They completed at 67% last week after getting towed up the week before.
Yeah.
It's almost like they don't care. One last thing on the NRL too before we move on. Bishop Neal, New South Wales Cup debut this weekend for the Warriors. 17 years old. The kid is an absolute gun. I say kid, he is built like a fully grown man. Large human being, quick, skill set. He's got everything. Lecker was playing Cup at 17. I'm not saying he's the next Lecker. They're different players, but he is right up there, and he is a player we are so lucky to have in this Warriors system. Will be a household name of the future for sure, so keep an eye on him. New South Wales Cup debut, Bishop Neal in the second row. What a player. So excited to see how he goes. I don't expect massive things up against fully grown adults, but it's just an indication as to where he's at and how talented he is.
Bright future, very bright future. And he's actually very well known for a 16-year-old in New Zealand like sports. Mm-hmm. I feel like his high school highlights went everywhere and he's a very popular person. Yeah. Like in the sporting world in New Zealand. So, yeah, I'm excited to see him rip in.
I know
good
Tanner
player.
Stowers-Smith has been mentoring him a bit as well. I think he's been staying with him. They're both Christchurch lads. And he's doing his part to keep him grounded as well. It seems like Bishop hasn't let anything go to his head. I don't even know if he has socials.
Tanner would be a good person, actually, for that. I listened to him on Sport Nation the other day. Very calm, calm, cool, collected. Obviously hasn't got too much of an ego or anything that's happened in the last couple of days. He's playing really good footy. So, yeah, I think that's a good sort of mentor.
There we go. Super Rugby.
Let's get into it. First game Friday night, Highlanders Hurricanes.
Yes.
We'll go through the lineup there. Actually, the best way to line up is probably go through the injury list. There's some injuries. There's some massive injuries in these teams.
Oh, shoot.
Thomas Lavanini out for 1 to 2 weeks.
Yeah, boy.
Our boy. After that absolute dog act from Finlay Bruce. Did you saw it?
Yeah, that is rough.
It was just a horrible tackle. Jacob Ratamatavuki, Neepkins at the back, Caleb Tangitau, Jonah Nareki. Just a quick word on those back three. Electrifying, eh?
Yep. The best to watch in the competition, I reckon.
Do you reckon Jacob's a shout at the ABs this year? I know Caleb Tungitau's obviously a chance, and Nareki's probably going to play.
I think I made that call a few weeks ago. Will Jordan's playing so well, but
he's a really good playmaking back.
Yeah,
fullback,
and can do a job on a wing too if you need as well. He's just got speed, and I feel like they're the back three you don't want to kick the ball to. I feel like Jonah Nareki's so underestimated as well. Yeah, they're deadly, and Tangitau's in. He's already in. He's on the team sheet.
But Jim, the difference at 12, Tamanawai. Then Pasitoa starts at 10. Cam Miller's out for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think we saw that one coming right. That was a pretty nasty little knock. Interested to see how he goes starting at 10. Cam Miller, pretty standard first five in terms of game director.
Really good game director, yeah.
Whereas perhaps maybe a bit more razzle X factor here, which can be high risk, high reward. We'll see.
On the topic of playmakers, Andrew Newstub at the All Black Sevens, former All Black Sevens. He's on the bench for the Highlanders in 2020.
For the Landers?
I think it might be debut for the Landers. Played NPC for Canterbury during the year. First five.
Yeah.
Handy footballer. On his day.
He's got some razzle too.
Yeah, so that's good. The front row, Ethan de Groot, Jack Taylor, Angus Tarval. There's TK Howden, who's playing lock, very versatile, can play 6, 8, 5. Has he impressed you during the year?
Yeah, and I think it's a smart move because I like their loose forward trio.
Lucas KCA.
And he's big and he can carry and he does the tough stuff. So I don't mind that move to lock because that's a position where they are desperate for bodies at the moment.
Well, at the moment, yeah, definitely. Then we get into the Hurricanes. Xavier Numia, Asafa Armour, Pasilio Tossi. Hectic front row.
No Lomax.
No Lomax. 1 to 2 weeks, 1 to 3 weeks, it says. Ankle,
Bloke
I believe.
Can't catch a break, can he?
Yeah, and that is the injury that he had the other week. Yeah. So apparently it's just a twinge.
Okay.
A little bit of a small one, but we'll see how that goes. Warner Dearns comes back into the second row. Devin Flanders, Braden Yosse, Peter Lakai is their loose forward trio. No Duplessis Karifi on the bench. Thoughts?
It was interesting too. I heard Clark Laidlaw speak and he said, this is our strongest team at the moment that we're rolling out. And that statement is quite grabbing when you see Duplessis on the bench, right? But then when you look into it, like Flanders has been outstanding. They're clearly going for a bit more size here. But yeah, Lakai, I thought he might have been at 8, Karifi at 7, but Braden Yossi's been going great guns as well. They've just got so many loose forwards.
Way too many, eh?
But great problem to have. And Dupes will rip in off the bench. But yeah, I guess for an All Black, you don't want to be on the bench and your coach saying strongest team, do you?
Yeah. It's all good if you're on the bench and they're saying we're resting players or we're bringing impact off the bench.
Yeah, or giving someone an opportunity. But yeah, strongest 15 and you're not in it. A little bit alarming. He's a fucking good player.
He's a great player. And then probably the biggest news, Cam Roigard at 9 and Ruben Love starts at 10.
Rate it. I'm excited to watch that go about. And then the rest of the backline is absolutely stacked as well, right? You got Geordie, you got Proctor, Morby on a wing, with Fehe out there too. Like, yeah, this is under the roof, and this is the two teams you want to see go at it, because the Canes have shown in dry conditions they're deadly, and we all know what that Landers backline can do too. I was a little surprised at the odds in this one, eh? $2.90 Landers, Canes $1.40. I get the Canes at top of the table.
Under the roof. They've played 3 games in dry conditions, the Hurricanes.
Yeah.
And they've been in it.
Crazy good.
Beautiful form.
But Landers at home seem to grow another arm and a leg in front of a zoo. I was just a little surprised at the $2.90 and the line of 6.5. I think the Highlanders cover that.
Yeah, it's not a bad option. Ruben Love at 10. Dave Rennie, he'll be watching that with a keen eye.
He'd have to be. And last week when he came on, he pretty much changed the game, he made the Canes look a whole lot better. So I'm excited that this week we finally get to see it, because it was in pre-season. It was going to happen. He picked up that ankle injury. Now we get to see what it actually looks like in a quality game too. This, no offense to the Western Force, but this is a step up.
And then the next game on Friday night in Canberra, the Brumbies taking on the Chiefs. James Slipper becomes the leading
capped player.
I reckon we'll storm the field. They'll storm the field on Saturday.
I don't think Slipper's a storm the field guy. If they're planning to lift him on shoulders, it's going to take a few blokes as well.
A couple of locks.
I saw Slippers on for Slipper.
Yeah.
I don't mind that. I'm not sure if I would go to a stadium in my slippers.
But it's Canberra. What else you got?
Exactly. Shit-o. You can go to the league tonight. You can go get your slippers on as well. Is that Friday night?
Yeah, it is Friday night.
There you go. So a bit going on in Canberra, but well done to James Slipper in all seriousness, right? Like, that is a heck of a knock, and he's a bloody good player.
The old retire a couple of times, come back.
Yeah.
How good's that?
It's always tempting, isn't it?
Yeah. And then we get into their lineup. Wallace Satiti is sort of targeting another 3 weeks. He's injured with a hamstring.
He is in Japan. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. Was that actually, that wasn't legit. Just a rumor?
Even this week, he's like having dinner with Artie and stuff.
I didn't actually see that. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, so I don't know if they've just said go on holiday or whatever, and he's just having a bit of a break. But
has he gone to see Dave Rennie? Matua Dave?
I don't know. Or is he just sorting out a deal for post-World Cup? I don't know what the go is.
Yeah, we'll have to deep dive that.
That's unfortunate. I feel like he looks so good when he comes back and gets back into the groove, and then he's just picking up a lot of these annoying injuries for a young loose forward, right?
Yeah. Jared Prophet, dirty Jared Prophet after that. He's back. Samasoni Takiaho.
Yeah.
Josh Lord and Tupou Vai, very good locking combination.
Great. Tupou Vai, big fan.
If Fabian Holland's not fit to go, and Paddy Tuipulotu's maybe still good to go. I know this is sort of looking way too far in the future, but you wouldn't bet an eyelid if Josh Lord and Tupou Vai were the All Blacks starting lock duo in the first game, would
you? Scott
Barrett, if he's good, if he's back in the mixer,
yeah. There's a few injuries there, right? I think Sam Derry's been unreal.
Would you start him instead of Lord?
I think they offer something a little bit different to each other, right? Like Lord is as quick as a winger and gets around the paddock, whereas Derry's a bit more of that enforcer vibe. But with Vati there, maybe you don't need that enforcer vibe. But I guess it depends who you're playing. Against the French, you probably go Derry and Vati, but if it's going to be a bit more open, Lord. But as I said a few weeks ago, I think Lord's earned my respect a whole lot more.
He's growing as a player.
Yeah. I love seeing him play now, and in open space, he is dangerous.
Holding the ball in one hand.
It's so good, and quite often the bloke right next to him is Tupou Vati. So I love Vati, and I've heard Jeff Wilson say a few times he thinks he's the future All Black skipper. Which
I wouldn't put it past him.
Massive knock.
Simon Parker starts at 6. Luke Jacobson's back from a head knock, I believe. Jerome Brown at 7. Cortez Ratama at 9. Damian McKenzie at 10. Quinn Tapai, Daniel Rona. The big thing about this back three, Atene Nana Saturu deal this week going to France. Yes. Leroy Carter on the right wing. Coombs Fabling at 15, and this is no disrespect to him, but Kyron Taumoifalau, where is he? He's not on the injury report. I've seen a post on the Legend of Marty Banks talking about, is he the best player that's just not playing? Yeah. Like he's moved, and everyone was like, I don't have any respect for him. He's moved from Moana when he was playing every week, and now he's just sitting on the development team.
It's crazy, right? Because I assume the move, and I think the move was to try and push for an All Blacks jersey because he becomes eligible. No, but in the preseason, I probably would have said that he could play his way into it because he is that talented. Had, 2 games at the start of the season?
Yeah, off the bench, I think, memory.
A little bit underwhelming, or like one good game, one decent game, but... Yeah, you'd have to think if you asked him truthfully, he probably would be saying he regrets the move at the moment, at least to the Chiefs, a team with so many outside backs. Perhaps like the Blues or something would have been a better move for him, right? You think him...
Well, yeah, the Blues on the right wing.
They would have taken Taumoifalau first up, so... Yeah, it's an interesting one, but that's such a tough backline to try crack your way into. I assumed he would have been, if not at fullback, then on the wings, but... hasn't played out that way.
Brumbies basically full strength after their trip to the Fiji and Drua, where they got battered, really. Yeah. So it'll be a big game for them at home. They've lost 2 on the trot. So
have you seen the odds? Brumbies at home, $2.90 underdogs.
Yeah, it's $2.60 on my tribe app currently.
Okay, so it's dropped a little
since the teams
have come out. I still, I will be backing the Chiefs.
Yeah,
but I think it'll be close, and I'm surprised. That's got to be one of the highest odds the Brumbies have paid at home in a long time, surely. It's so hard.
And they'll be looking to bounce back too. So
yeah,
it's an interesting one. On the bench for the Chiefs, Tyrone Thompson, Ollie Norris, strong bench. Arkoi, Samapeni Finau, Josh Jacobs, Xavier Rowe, and Lalakai Fekete, which is a hell of a bench to sort of bring on.
There's a couple international players right there and a few fringies too. So.
Yep. So who you got on that one?
I got the Chiefs.
Close one.
Close. 1-12 for sure. 1-7 possibly. That either team by 7.5 points or less if you really want to fence it. I think that's a good way to go.
Fiji and Drua at home. Is that just a lay down misère at home?
We've been high on the red supply lately.
We have been, but we've also been very high on the fact
I think the Drua are just so confident at home at the moment. And
it's in Lautoka this week.
Is that 3 in a row for them at home?
Yeah, it is.
Lautoka, they're always pretty good there, right?
They're great there, yeah. They weren't... they played in Bar last week.
Yeah. Okay, let's just back the Drua.
We'll back them?
Yeah, why not?
For the Reds, mostly no Carter Gordon.
Okay, Drua.
Is that, am I mistaken? No Carter Gordon, which is an interesting one. No Fraser McWright either.
Why?
So they've sort of done what the Brumbies did last week when the Brumbies travelled to Fiji and Drua and they didn't take their full squad.
Resting players
Have they just decided that they're not going to win the game?
Yeah, you reckon they're just like flagging? Save the boys the travel.
So that's that one. We'll quickly move on to a big game Saturday night, Moana Pacifica versus the Crusaders. I know it might not seem like a big game with who are the favourites and stuff, but I think it's a big game for Moana. They need to bounce back.
$2 favourites, the Crusaders, $3.
I mean, it's right, I think, but I think it's a big game for Moana.
First time back in Albany this year. They get Julian Savea back. I think they want to make this respectable for sure. The line is 26.5 points. I just can't see it being that tight.
It's just disappointing,
though.
I went to Moana a couple times last year. Was there for the very, very special Blues one.
Yeah.
But it's just disappointing the way that's all unfolded,
Yeah, I think once you take a guy like Artie out of that, not just his playing ability, but leadership and also the attention he brings from the public. Like, it's no coincidence he went there, the stands were packed, and it was like a party atmosphere. They were the positive story, or one of Super Rugby last year. Like, they were everyone's second favourite team. So, yeah, the drop-off has been big. I'd love to see them make it interesting, but I think the Crusaders will be way too good.
Conspiracy theory from the weekend. I was at the Blues Moana game.
Oh.
Saw the old Moana Pacifica social media content creator there, who's now the All Blacks content creator.
Yep.
At the game, doing social media content.
Used to be with Tasman as well, right?
Used to be in Tasman as well.
Yeah.
Is he just recording stuff of Tana Umaga? Was that deal done?
Oh.
This is major conspiracy theory here.
Look, I'll back it in. You got the tinfoil hat on. I'd be crazy not to follow you in, but
it could be the last game. He'll coach till the end of the season, I would have thought, if he is named. But it could be the last game before we've got some news around it.
I hope it is. You were saying maybe today or Friday, right? But
it's New Zealand rugby we're talking about.
Put the notifications on. There'll be an Instagram post coming
some
shortly.
random time. For the lineup, Finley Brewis should just not be in this lineup. After his shot on Thomas Lavanini. Just shouldn't be. Because if you think about it, right, Tamaiti Williams got 3 weeks for that clean out on Tupou Vai.
Mm-hmm.
That was not as bad as Finlay Bruce's one.
I don't think so either. No, I agree with you, for sure.
I'm just heated up a bit.
No, you are. Passionate rugby lad.
George Bell, Fletcher Newell, there's some good players in this.
Yeah.
Johnny Lee, the long lost cousin, keeps his spot.
A few people have messaged me over the last couple of days just saying how impressed they've been with him. So the Johnny Lee hype train that yourself and I have built up is well and truly in full motion. I'm keen to see him do it a couple weeks in a row, but yes, he was very good last week.
I saw Feed the Backs posted a sort of timeline of what he's done. He's been the under-20s Crusaders captain, Canterbury, played Tasman.
He's got the pedigree. Yeah. He's got the pedigree. I'm keen to see him ripping again. They said another Blackadder on their post, didn't they? I saw that actually. So.
More importantly though, Cooper Grant starts at 10.
Like it.
For them. It's weird because I don't know where... what's his name?
Rivers Rayhana
is.
Yeah, they said there was 4 changes to the starting team, and that's obviously one of them. Will Jordan skipper, is it?
Might be.
Because David Harville out.
Yep. He's out for 4 weeks, I believe.
Yeah.
Moon boot on.
Yeah, that's a big blow, isn't it?
Noah Hotham, but that's an interesting one at 10. They're going to get a lot of the ball, so having Cooper Grant an inexperienced 10, this isn't a knock on him, but an inexperienced Super Rugby 10.
Yeah, Rivers isn't even on the bench. So.
And he's not in from what I can see, he's not in the
injured list.
I will check that right now. But yeah, it's an interesting lineup. George Bauer on the bench. Leicester is gained. Are we just going to go with Leicester as being that impact player on the bench?
It seems like it at the moment, right? The rest of that backline's functioning pretty well, but you'd think with an injury there to Harville, it would open up a midfield spot, but instead it's Dallas McLeod and Braden Enor in there. So.
Here we go, Rivers. Rayhana is on the injury list alongside Taha Kimura with concussion to be confirmed, so probably 1 to 2 weeks. So it's not major. Punch up at training, another one.
Between the two first fives.
Yeah. We'll move on to the Saturday night game, the Waratahs and the Blues, the last game of the round.
Yep.
Thoughts on this? We've been giving the Waratahs a lot of shit.
Yes, we have.
As
just the 2 changes to the Tars team, Blues team, 6 changes to the starting lineup, but that's to be expected when you're coming off playing Moana. It's basically their best team back in the mixer that's fully fit and healthy. Your boy off the bench again.
Barnes doing Barnes.
It looks like Signa's won the spot to start, but I don't mind the balance there, to be honest, between them.
Malachi Rampling.
I like him.
At 8.
Good footballer. I think the Blues win.
Yeah.
We've called the Tars a myth. They are a little bit harder at home, but I still think when they play New Zealand teams, they're going to be put to the sword.
It's interesting because I don't think the Tars have the forward pack, or at least the quality in the forward pack, to live with the Blues' one-off game, the little pick and goes.
I think Jorgensen will score, but I think the
he
Tars
scores
will
every week.
lose. Yeah, but I think the Tars will lose. And I'm actually, I was quite low on the Blues heading into this season. I'm enjoying watching them play, though.
Do you think they're showing more 2024 Blues or 2025 Blues? They have won more games, obviously.
I think they're built more around physicality again. Like, that forward pack is dominant, deadly, man. Like, set piece time, everything. And they've got some razzle in that back line too. So I feel like they're pretty well balanced at the moment, but the pack sets the tone for me, and now Bodie's back pulling the strings. that they look pretty. I'm keen to see Zahn back in the mixer too.
Yeah, got a little bit of a rest last week, but he'll come straight back in. Picks quickly, go for it. Highlanders or the Canes. I think that's the game of the round. That one Friday night.
Look, I'll go the Canes, but I like the Landers on the start. I'll go the Landers on the start. I will bend the rules a little bit.
Do you want to go with a punt then for each game instead of just the game?
Yeah, let's go Landers plus 6.5 at home. Right.
Brumbies Chiefs.
Chiefs 1-12.
Yeah, I do like that.
Close.
Yeah.
Close game expected.
Might just skip the Drua because you're going to take them, aren't you?
I'm going to take them. I'll take
157 is not a bad multi-builder.
No.
Add that to the legs.
Not at all. And I can tell you before team naming, they were $1.72, so punters have loaded up.
Well, yeah, no Fraser McWright, no Carter Gordon.
Yeah,
so
smart stuff.
The Crusaders, $1.03. Do you want to show us a couple of try scorers maybe?
Yeah. Oh, Will the Thrill will dot, for sure. I think they'll cover the 26.5 line.
Moana will, or the Crusaders will?
I think the Crusaders will.
Okay.
I think it'll be a pretty big score, even with an inexperienced first five. That forward pack is still deadly.
There's a chance you're clipped up on Moana Pacifica socials on Monday morning if we lose.
Big Moana fan.
The Waratahs and the Blues, I think might be a little bit of a niggly contest.
Yeah, Blues 1-12.
Yep.
Potential for a 13 plus there, but I don't want to end up on the Tars.
Try scorers. Surely there might be a little market for the couple of try scorers in the first half part of the forward pack or something like that. That would be a nice one, like a 3 tries forwards 1-8 in the first half. I would like that.
Some rolling maul bets, some big bodies crashing over close to the line. Slater at hooker, not a bad shout. I'm always a big Vi fan. He knows his way to the try line. Caleb Clark in some bloody good form. Shit, they strike all over the paddock there. What about Rampling? Back him in.
Yeah, he's a good player. Really good player. And he was the under-20s vice captain or something at one point, I thought.
Back him in. Good skill set. Hard to stop close to the line. Let's go all in on him. Remember to use the code this weekend for that Warriors game. Winning team and margin. The code is margin. You get it wrong, you get your money back in bonus cash up to $20. Otherwise, we're back on Monday. You'll be in Dunedin.
I will be in Dunedin.
But the podcast continues.
The podcast will continue.
You'll just be dialing in via the internet. Crazy technology.
Yeah, it might sound a little bit different, but
the fizz will be the same. We're running Surly set of 6 plus the full review. So go the Warriors. Enjoy your Super Rugby as well. Another hissing round of NRL. Enjoy a few Michelob Ultras and gamble responsibly. See you on Monday.